Good evening and welcome to this Saturday night edition of Michael's Musings. As always, I'm glad you're tuning in so we can stay connected. And also I get to share with you some of my thoughts. And tonight I want to talk to you about LaGuardia. Now you've probably heard of LaGuardia as an airport in New York, but it's named after one of their famous mayors of New York. And back in the Depression time, he was there, but he was a real mayor of the people. And trying to reach out to them, and he would go with the police when they would raid the speakeasies. He would try to be there with the firefighters whenever they were fighting fires, but also sometimes occasionally for like the night court, especially in some of the rougher neighborhoods, he would go in to relieve the judge and he would listen to the people's cases. Well, one night he was listening to a woman's case, an older lady who was sharing that her daughter's husband, so it'd be her son-in-law, had lost his job. It was during the Depression, and she had their grandkids there. Nobody had any food. So she had gone to the grocery store and asked for some leniency, and they didn't. So she stole a loaf of bread and got arrested anyway. So that's why she was there in court. Well, LaGuardia said, "Ma'am, I still have to charge you because what you did was wrong." And he said, "Your fee is $10 for doing this infraction." But before he even finished saying it, he reached into his own pocket and pulled out the $10 and put it into his hat. And then he said, "And I'm finding everybody in this courtroom additional $10 each for living in a community that would allow an elderly woman who has no food, no income, taking care of grandkids, to get to the point where she had to steal food." So the woman left the courtroom not only having her fees paid, but also pocketing $47.50, which back in the Depression really was a lot more money than just $47.50. I love that story because it shows to us the big distinction between living in the kingdom of God and living in the land that we live in. Not to say the land we live in is horrible, and by the land we live in, the rules we have, the woman did wrong. It's not her place to take food that doesn't belong to her. You know, the grocery store owner was just trying to do their business and live their life, and this woman took bread from her. And so you really can't debate that either. What she did was wrong, and why is it his responsibility to give her bread? But I love it with that story because it talks about the kingdom of God, where we all live in a community where we should not let anybody get to the point where they feel like they have to steal bread just so they can have some food for dinner that night. What God tries to teach us about living together. So not only did the grocery store clerk also pitch in, he also pitched in the 50 extra cents to help this lady out. So maybe something touched his heart in that way too. So you know what? Whenever we're all in a tough time, let's remember the lesson that we hear from LaGuardia on teaching us about living in a community where we take care of one another. So think about that, pack that away as we go down this journey we call life. Don't forget tomorrow morning we have Sunday school at 9:30 and worship at 10:45. And also don't forget to mark your calendars. April 4th, we're going to be back to in-person worship on Easter Sunday morning. I can't wait. In the meantime, stay safe out there. Good night and God bless.